Life changes quickly for high-end NFL draft selections who never reach their full potential. So whatever happened to the 10 biggest draft busts in NFL history? Let's get you caught up. Ryan Leaf. The 98 NFL draft was headlined by two can't-miss quarterback prospects, Peyton Manning and Ryan Leaf. The Colts ultimately took Manning first overall, leaving the Chargers with the former Washington State quarterback. Leaf struggled immediately after stepping onto the NFL field, and his lazy habits and clashes with the media didn't help. He became a problem in the Chargers locker room, and they cut him after a rough 2000 season. He tried reviving his career with the Cowboys in 2001, but to no avail. He was out of the NFL by 2002. After his football career, things started off well at first. He did some financial consulting in San Diego before going back to school and getting a BA in humanities at Washington State in 2005. In 2006, he began helping out the West Texas A&M University football team as a volunteer quarterbacks coach. But in 2008, he resigned after allegedly asking a player for a painkiller to help him deal with some previous injuries. In May 2009, he was hit with burglary and controlled substance charges in Texas. He ended up pleading guilty in 8 felony counts involving obtaining and delivering controlled substances and was sentenced to 10 years probation. Then in 2012, in his hometown of Great Falls, Montana, he was arrested twice in a matter of days on a number of burglary, theft, and drug charges. He was sentenced to 7 years in custody of the Montana Department of Corrections. Leaf was expected to serve the first 9 months in a lockdown rehab facility, but in January 2013 he was sent to Montana State Prison after violating his treatment conditions. He was eventually released from prison in December 2014 and he started to get his life back on track. After 6 years of sobriety in 2018, he became the program ambassador for Transcend Recovery Community, a sober living program that helps individuals overcome addiction. He also has his own website where you can book him to speak about things like mental and behavioral health issues. And then he joined ESPN in 2019 with our college football coverage. Leaf also hosted a Pac-10 radio show, and you'll find him making regular appearances on many other popular shows and podcasts. He has most recently been a regular contributor to The Rich Eisen Show during their coverage of the 2021 NFL Draft. Unfortunately, there was another stumbling block for Leaf in 2020, when he was arrested for domestic battery in California on May 22nd. He was able to stay out of jail after agreeing to a plea bargain. Let's hope it's just a one-off, and this is the last time we hear of any legal troubles for the recovering quarterback. Jamarcus Russell. The Oakland Raiders selected the LSU quarterback with the first overall pick in 2007, but as everyone knows, Russell didn't carry his success over to the NFL level. He started just 1 game as a rookie, struggled mightily as a sophomore, and he was eventually replaced with the likes of Bruce Gradkowski and Charlie Fry in his 3rd season. He was eventually released during the 2010 offseason and never played a single snap in the NFL again. Russell tried to make a few comebacks in 2013 and 16, at one point even offering to play for free, but there were no takers, probably because of his whole purple drank arrest in 2010, where he was arrested for being in possession of codeine syrup without a prescription, but avoided charges due to insufficient evidence. With his comeback dreams dashed, Russell focused solely on giving back to his community by helping with the youth football program in the Maysville community, where he grew up in Mobile, Alabama. Russell was able to stay out of trouble during that time, and he eventually landed a job as a quarterbacks coach at his alma mater, Williamson High School. He called it special to be able to return to the place where it all started for him, and he even joked about the possibility of coaching the sons of some of his former high school teammates. Tim Couch. The Cleveland Browns franchise was reactivated in 1999, and they used that first overall pick that year on Kentucky quarterback Tim Couch. But the 98 Heisman Trophy finalist lasted just 5 disappointing seasons in the NFL, and that was it. Long after his playing career, Couch worked as a television analyst at Fox Sports South. In 2018, he was hired in an analyst role for Browns preseason games with play-by-play man Jay Crawford on WEWS. Couch was also part of the concussion lawsuit that was filed against the NFL by dozens of former players back in 2012. Currently, Tim is part owner of the Meridian Wealth Management Company in Lexington with his brother Greg, who is also the founder and president of the company. Tim is listed on the company's webpage as part of their Advisory Business Council. Aaron Curry. Curry may be the biggest defensive draft bust of all time. This guy had all the tools to be a bona fide NFL superstar. The Seattle Seahawks took him with a number 4 selection in the 2009 draft, but he was a massive disappointment with just 5.5 sacks in 35 games. He was eventually replaced by rookie KJ Wright during the 2011 season, prompting the Seahawks to trade Curry to Oakland. A fresh start did nothing, though. He was waived by the Raiders late in the 2012 season and never played in the NFL again. That didn't keep him away from football for long, though. In 2013, he took on an intern strength and conditioning position with the UNC Charlotte football team. 1 year later, he's promoted to a grad assistant and helped with the linebackers, followed by 3 more years as a defensive line coach with the team. Then in 2019, Curry finally found his way back into the NFL, albeit in a different capacity. The Seahawks hired him for a coaching assistant role in 2019. And in 2020, the Seahawks handed Curry a full-time position as a defensive assistant. It may not have worked out as a player, but now Curry is embracing the role of developing players. Not a bad alternative after failing to reach those sky-high expectations over a decade ago. Brian Bosworth. The Boz at least found another way to stay famous and in the spotlight following his career. Bosworth was, simply put, one of the most dominant players the NCAA has ever seen. The Seahawks picked Bosworth in the 1987 supplemental draft, and he quickly became a media darling thanks to his unique haircut and forthright persona. But unfortunately, a brutal shoulder injury forced Bosworth to retire after playing just 24 games over 3 seasons. Seahawks team physician Pierce E. Scranton Jr. stated that at the age of 25, Bosworth had the shoulders of a 60-year-old. Bosworth didn't have to wait long to regain the spotlight, however. He started another successful movie career for himself by starring in the 1991 film Stone Cold. He would go on to appear in dozens of films over the years, including One Man's Justice, Mach 2, and Adam Sandler's 2005 remake of The Longest Yard. In 2021, it was announced that Bosworth will host a documentary series called Bucket List on Crackle. Bosworth will speak to coaches and former players to explore the best college football destinations in the country. Yeah, we'd say Bosworth has done pretty well in life after football. Courtney Brown. 1 year after Cleveland drafted Couch, they used a top selection in 2000 on Penn State defensive end Courtney Brown. He was coming off of one of the greatest college seasons ever, but injuries unfortunately prevented Brown from ever reaching his full potential at the NFL level. He only played 16 games once. He was limited to 5 games in 2001 and 2 games in 2004. He joined the Broncos in 2005 after missing the entire 2006 season with a knee injury, and he was out of the NFL for good. Brown has been totally out of the public eye ever since his football career ended a decade and a half ago, although he did attend the 2019 Penn State homecoming game. Some websites state that Brown is now doing missionary work in the Dominican Republic, something that was pretty rudely reported by Oliver Thomas of The Telegraph on Twitter after Super Bowl 55. Kijana Carter. The Bengals made a trade with the Carolina Panthers for the top selection in the 95 draft. They used it on Penn State running back Carter. Sadly, he too was a victim of the injury bug. He missed his entire rookie year, as well as the 98 season and most of the 99 season. In 99, he suffered a dislocated kneecap and was done for the year after playing just 3 games. After spending his last 5 seasons with the Bengals, he bounced around a few teams, and by the end of the 2004 season, his disappointing NFL career was over. Though Carter never got it going on the gridiron, he's found great success as an entrepreneur. He spent some time blogging for the now-defunct website opensports.com, but his greatest success has been as the founder and CEO of a Florida-based branding and marketing company, BioGlobe. Carter's been largely out of the spotlight, but in 2020 his company made headlines when they were sued by Penn State Health for just under $1 million after he failed to make good on a $2.4 million deal to deliver 400,000 3M masks from China during the COVID-19 pandemic. Tony Mandarich. Sports Illustrated infamously referred to Mandarich as the best offensive line prospect ever. At the time, it wasn't a stretch. The guy was supposed to be a Hall of Famer. But the Green Bay Packers' second overall pick from 1989 turned out to be a giant bust. He couldn't transition to the NFL, had a stint in rehab in 95, and eventually retired in 98 after 3 seasons with the Colts due to a shoulder injury. Mandarich isn't seen much these days, and that's a good thing. He's too busy working his successful photography business. Some of his finest works can be seen on Mandarich's website. Amazingly enough, it was football that helped ignite Mandarich's love for photography. While being photographed for the cover of Sports Illustrated in 1989, Tony was, quote-unquote, fascinated by how the photographer shaped light to create his images. On top of his photography business, Mandarich also works as a sobriety advocate and as a public speaker. Vince Young. Unlike most other busts on this list, Young did actually enjoy some minor NFL success. He was the 2006 Offensive Rookie of the Year and the 2009 Comeback Player of the Year. But besides those 2 seasons, it was tough sledding for the Titans' 3rd overall pick from 2006. Young struggled mightily with accuracy and ball security. He showed flashes at times, but in the end, the turnovers were just too much, and the Titans released him after the 2010 season. Young played 1 year with the Eagles in 2011, but that would turn out to be his last. He officially retired from the NFL in 2014. He gave the Canadian Football League a go in 2017, but that didn't last long. He was cut by the Saskatchewan Roughriders after tearing his hamstring in training camp. Since then, Young has returned to his college alma mater to work as a development officer. He was fired in 2019 for poor performance, but 2 years later, the University of Texas rehired Young to work as an athletics department special assistant. David Carr. The older brother of Las Vegas Raiders quarterback Derek Carr was taken first overall by the expansion Houston Texans franchise in 2002, but the team failed to build around him and his career suffered because of it. Following the 2006 season, Carr was released by the Texans. He bounced around as a backup for a few seasons and even won a Super Bowl while backing up Eli Manning on the Giants, but he was out of the NFL after the 2012 season. As a player, that is. At first, in 2015, Carr took on the offensive coordinator role at Bakersfield Christian High School, where his younger brother Darren was the head coach. Then in 2016, he joined the NFL Network as an analyst, appearing on programs like Around the NFL and NFL Total Access. Thankfully, his television gig has allowed him the flexibility to continue coaching high school ball at Bakersfield. He's also taken on other endeavors like getting involved with charities and organizations such as Valley Children's Healthcare, Dignity Health, and the Make-A-Wish Foundation. Let's just say that after taking so many sacks as a player, the former first overall pick is about giving back these days. Which other NFL bust current whereabouts are you interested in learning? Join us in the comment section down below. If you're new and you haven't subscribed, you can feel free to do that right now by clicking the subscribe button down below. If you like the video, then like the video. We'd really appreciate it. And until next time, tune in to TPS every single day for more cool videos. We'll see you.